season, they had a terrible run, didn't they? Of like 9 or 10, 11 games without a victory. And many of those were losses as well.
Mm.
And maybe it hinges back to relations. We talked earlier about Slot's relations with his players. I get the feeling now that he's back on side, so to speak. So yeah, it's difficult to say, isn't it? Are they back to what? Well, what they're being measured against is their performance last season, where they
Mm.
won the Premier League and they
Mm.
won it with quite a few games to spare. And
Mm.
then they seem to sort of go down to the beach because they did lose two or
Mm.
three games towards the end, I think.
Mm.
But so that may have had more relevance than we've ever given it credit for. The fact that the end of their season became a bit unsuccessful compared to the relative ease with which they seemed to win the Premier League.
Mm.
So, had something set in their minds, complacency, or one or two players going missing, as they say, they're already on the beach in their mind.
Mm.
It's difficult to say, but again, this season, perhaps fortunately, they started off with 5 victories, straight to the top of the league. And some of those games they could easily have lost. I think somehow things went their way. But after that, they had a shocking run. So that no wonder people say, are they now back to their best? Well, again, if we think about it, they lost players at the end of last season, transfers, etc., and they've taken on new players, some of whom are now finding their feet, I think, taking them a while to adapt and for a new team to get to know itself. So maybe that's the thing. Almost inevitably, this was going to be a season of, coming together, of reappraising what they are, new players getting used to the environment and to the team itself, how the team play, the new manager, the new coaches. So it's kind of that kind of season, I think, where there was always going to be some upheaval as a result.
Yeah.
If they'd gone straight through and had another season of constant winning games, I think that would have said something about the rest of the Premier League. I mean, I think any Premier League team can beat any other on the day. That does seem to be a fact, as we've seen over some years. So
Mm.
maybe I don't know, other teams sort of found them out a bit because it was early days, and who knows, maybe they were resting on their laurels a bit. We know, and we've said before, the tragedy of Diogo Jota would have perhaps played on their minds. Um, these things all come together. So it's been a season of resettling, I think. So all credit to Slot for managing it, if that's what's happened. And it may be that next season, even the second half of this season, which we're in now, we'll see the old Liverpool kind of coming back a bit because they will have settled, they will have got to know each other, and maybe some of those distractions they've dealt with.
Yeah. I hope so. Hope so. Because it did really trouble him a little bit. The bad runs that he
Yeah.
had, almost lost his job, didn't it, Arne. But I somehow I share your opinion about, him still being able to, get back to form,
Mm.
winning forms, winning ways. Now, just lastly on Liverpool. So it started with Benjamin Sesko struggling at Manchester United, Victor Gyökeres struggling at Arsenal. Meanwhile, Hugo Ekitike silently producing 13 goals, 4 assists in all competitions so far.
Mm.
Do you think it's their talisman?
I think so. I mean, I think he was injured, wasn't he, last week? Because he wasn't playing, was he? Hopefully a minor injury. But I think he is becoming that. He really is. And he is. And I think his path ahead has been cleared a bit because Isak broke his tibia, his shin bone, didn't he, a few weeks ago.
Mm.
So it leaves Ekitike when he's back, assuming he's back quite quickly from whatever injury he had. He's not really going to have his place threatened by sometimes Isak starting. I mean, I don't know whether they'll eventually play together. That might be doubtful. Yeah, I think Ekitike has got something special. I think he's a goal sniffer, as they say. He knows where the goal is and he assists as well. So he's a sort of utility player you really want in any team. So yeah, I like him, and I think he'll do great things for them. I do.
Yeah, I like him as well. I think he's doing well at the moment, you know.
Yeah.
Let's hope his runs continue, his good runs continue. Now, Crystal Palace.
Yep.
So
yep.
I watched the game. I watched the game and I saw a different Crystal Palace. I saw a different Crystal Palace. I was watching the game and I'm thinking, who are all these players? Where's I know he, you know, he has had a few misses in front of goal. The tall guy,
Mateta. Yeah.
But then that match is also as crucial as any other match. I think there are lessons to be learned there. What do you make of it?
Well, yeah. Now, as far as Mateta's concerned, he's had this ongoing knee injury. I don't know whether I think we mentioned it before. I don't know if you knew about that. But he's not been the same player for most of this season. And I think probably a couple of months ago, Oliver Glasner actually said in a press conference that Mateta is carrying an injury. He didn't sort of go into too much detail. It was a knee injury, which perhaps was inhibiting him a bit, but they were managing him through this injury, which I found a bit of a strange thing to say, because if a high-profile professional footballer in a very, very physically tough league is carrying an injury, well, he's not going to be that effective. And the fact that Oliver Glasner announced that in a press conference sometime before Christmas simply alerts other opponents, other teams, to the fact, stay close to Mateta. He's got this injury. He's not. We'll nullify his effects on the pitch, which seems to be what happened, because he was missing chances that early in the season and last season he would have snapped up. So I think that's might explain that. But in fact, on the day last week, going to Macclesfield, Glasner